All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about how the Eagles completely revamped their secondary heading into 2024. But before we get into it, leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. You can always wait until the end, and hopefully I'll learn it, but let's dive right into it. So the NFL is a cyclical league. There are cycles over and over and over again, and with the Eagles building a super strong team off of their propensity to build around an amazing defensive line, which really has driven the defense since Howie Roseman became the architect of the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have poured resources into the trenches for a long time, and the structure of their defense, the skin and bones, has always been the defensive line. But over the back half of this past season, it just simply was not good enough for them to keep going in the secondary. The Eagles' secondary down the stretch was a really huge concern and one of the main reasons why they ended up collapsing. You can blame Sirianni going soft. You can blame Sean Desai. You can blame whoever you want. But what it boils down to is their secondary just didn't have the guns to keep going once their pass rush stopped being dominant. And while they have poured a ton of resources into the defensive line over the past few years, I couldn't help but think they have a few too many pass rushers on their defensive line rather than not enough. And sure, they've had a lot of first round picks over the past few years, but they haven't really made an effort to plug up a lot of other holes on the roster. And I'm a believer that, developmental defensive linemen, high ceiling athletic defensive linemen, those are the shots you take in the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh round. Now, obviously, you want high value defensive linemen on your team, but there is a point to having way too many. But now the Eagles don't have too many pass rushers anymore, just due to the fact that they have completely revamped their secondary. So with Howie Roseman being one of the best GMs in the NFL, one of the things I did not agree with him with is the lack of investment into the secondary over the past few years. Now they have gotten the high level play from Slay and Bradbury, but at the same time, they've just needed more. And they re-signed Devontae Maddox, so I don't really know what his role is going to be, but they are completely forgiven because of this one stud that they drafted. Quinyon Mitchell was a home run pick for the Philadelphia Eagles. And I was very convinced that the Colts at 15 were the team that was going to take Quinyon Mitchell based on how badly they needed corner after wide receiver ones just absolutely obliterated their secondary last year and how heavily they targeted Snead. But at the same time, if it wasn't the Colts, I saw Mitchell fitting in with a bunch of other teams ahead of the Eagles in the draft. And it's an absolute miracle that he was able to fall all the way to 22. Toledo had only had one first round pick in their school's history before Quinyon Mitchell. So hats off to Toledo. Great accomplishment for the program getting a first round pick. But regardless, there were tons of great performers at the Senior Bowl. And Quinyon Mitchell just happened to be probably one of the best ones. I believe he was named the Senior Bowl MVP. But he has a strong, well-built frame. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. He looks the way you want a corner to look. He's great in zone. He's great in man. Runs a 4.33. He's athletic. He's very tough. And he's kind of everything you want for a corner in the modern NFL. And Fangio is going to play Mitchell primarily in his cover 3 scheme, which is going to work great because the best Fangio defenses in 2018 with the Bears, they all had great interior pressure. They had strong interior movement from Hicks. And now the Eagles get a chance to show off, what they can do with their new defensive linemen that they've drafted and developed over the past few years. So I'm really excited to see what happens because Fangio was kind of a never blitz guy. And now that you have a tandem of Smith, Davis, Carter, Huff on that defensive front, it'll allow the secondary to drop more guys. And as a Broncos fan, something extremely underrated that I don't think you're going to hear about much in mainstream media over the course of this offseason is that Christian Parker was one of the best secondary coaches in the league in Denver, and now he's in Philly. So instrumental in getting Surtain and Simmons to play at the level they have the past 3 years with some high value play we got from guys who are total Jags too. So they're going to get a lot of help in man coverage now from other guys, and I'm just really excited to see what happens with this Philadelphia Eagles secondary. And personnel-wise, the process of taking Quinyon Mitchell completely made sense because I think going from 2024 onward, I did not see a single realistic starter in this team's defensive backfield. Slay and Bradbury were only getting older. Ringo is still like a let's see what we have in him kind of guy. Same with Ricks. And Maddox is coming back next year. And I don't know exactly how big of a role he's going to have, but they probably had like 18 corners on the depth chart, if I'm being completely honest, but none who really struck fear into their opponents, and none who I looked at and was just like, yeah, great players. So Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, great job by Howie Roseman retooling the Eagles secondary. So with a guy like DeJean out there, quarterbacks will probably have a tougher time understanding the assignment as well. And the Fangio scheme relies heavily on like deception and trying to disguise coverages. So having a Swiss Army knife like Cooper DeJean will be amazing for the Eagles. So yeah, they have completely revamped their secondary, and it all started with this Quinyon Mitchell pick. So he's instantly going to have a huge impact on the field for the Eagles. I assume he's going to be their boundary corner opposite Slay, at least to begin the year. And then it's wheels up. I hope he develops into the corner that Eagles fans think they're getting. And I think he can. I'm really impressed with what he is. I'm really impressed with the tools that he has and what he has to offer and his fit with the Eagles defense. So that does it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.